And next up, we're gonna have Super Mario World 11 exit Blindfolded, as we heard. And this is gonna be a interesting one. We have the two fastest runners in the world racing against each other for the first time. And just an hour ago before this race, katun24 actually tied the world record. He already had the world record, but it took the time. So he's really in form, and we will probably see a great race. Now, for those of you that are interested in how they actually strat this, I will link both of their strat documents, and you will be able to read it. Well, you will see what I mean, but it's not the easiest thing to read. But hopefully you do understand that it is a complex thing, and a lot of stratting and thinking goes into this. And the racers, both of these guys are veteran blindfolded racers. Parisian players have done 4 different games blindfolded, I believe, while katun24 has done really many. And for example, I know that Katun have beaten Super Mario 64 70-star blindfolded, and he has beaten all of the games in the Donkey Kong Country trilogy. And while these guys are getting ready and setting up, I can say that Katun has a PB that is about 2 minutes faster than Parisian player. And as you might expect from that, Parisian player is going for a bit safer strats, while Katun is going for more optimized strats. 11 exit is the number of exits that you will complete before reaching Bowser's Castle, if you do this game without doing any special glitches that take you directly to the credits. And that means that they're going to do 11 exits and then they're going to beat Bowser. And for those of you that have looked at the Google documents, a lot of how they time their strats is based on beats in the music. So it's difficult to hear for people that don't know what to listen for. But all of the songs in pretty much any game have a consistent beats that they are trying to listen to. And for every single beat that goes, they will count it and then do certain inputs. So you might expect them to do a lot of actions based on on audio cues, not visual cues. But especially Katun doesn't really listen to the audio at all, except for the music. I know that Parisian player has one level where he goes more by audio cues, but he as well mostly just go by the beat of the music. And I can see that you can see both of the blindfolds of the runners, so that you know that both of them won't be able to see anything. Now, we that know these players wouldn't expect them to cheat anyway, but it's always nice to have proof for everyone else that is watching. And the race is starting. Now, the first level, as in vanilla speedrunning, is actually fairly easy, even blindfolded. They will basically just try and hold right and run with P-speed and not lose any time. Compared to the vanilla speedrun, they will actually grab the midway, because they want to be a bit safer and have the power up going through the levels that are to come. But straight away you can see that Katun is going for a bit more optimized strats without falling off ledges and losing P-speed, and without knocking on the pipes. Parisian was not supposed to go in between those pipes. but thanks to that power-up from the midway, he makes it through. Now, the second level order is actually one of the hardest ones in this run. You will see that both of them will do a duck jump at the start. And that is because doing it that way makes them go the same distance every single time that they do the action. They don't have to time anything, they know where they are. But for the rest of this, it's really fast-paced inputs, and they really need to pay attention to the beat of the music. And we see Parisian player taking it off, which, since this is one of the most difficult levels in the run, is not uncommon. Now, Parisian is going safer in this level than Katun is, even though Katun just did it perfectly. And he has strats that makes him land in the middle of the platforms as often as possible when a beat finishes, so that he have more time to react if he is a slight bit off on the timing. And now in the Yoshi's Island 4, as you see Katun being in it, they want to avoid being in the water for as much as possible, since that slows you down quite a bit. But it's difficult to do, so they will take a few dips in the water. Now, Parisian took a death after getting the midway, but it's good to know that he has backup strats from the midway to the rest of the level. So even though it takes the death and the music is a bit off from when he entered the level, he still knows what to do now. And I think that Parisian is actually going to go and life farm a bit, which he can do straight away in the first level. Katun, meanwhile, jumped into a Koopa. I think that he just held the bottom for a bit too long. But he gets through it the second time. Now, since this is blindfolded, any minor mistake from any runner usually leads to a death, since they have no room for error. They don't see what you're doing, so if they don't know where they are, they don't know how to adapt. So most of the times, you will just see them try and die if they mess up and try it over again. And let's just hope that all goes well for Parisian player now, so he gets through Yoshi's Island 3. But no, once again takes a death from the same spots. Meanwhile, Katun finishes World 1 and will go on to World 2. And even in this blindfolded run, you will see a lot of use of the cape. However, they will not just fly through the levels that you're used to seeing in vanilla speedruns. Because knowing where you are with different flight speeds is way too difficult. And Parisian really do keep on struggling. Hopefully he will get this soon. I know that he practiced a lot before this run, but hopefully he haven't done too much and lost concentration. And now you can see Katun having his cape. And this level, according to Katun, Donut Plains 1, the first level with a cape, is actually easy. But according to Parisian player, it is one of the most difficult levels in the entire run. But instead, going into Donut Secret 1, this is a level that Katun finds super difficult, that Parisian player finds a lot easier. And as you can see, Katun is simply mashing the buttons and listening to the beat of the music to know when to stop and wait for a fish. But you can't really wait for the fish to move entirely out of position and then time a K-pump or anything. And that fish right there is exactly why Katun hates this level. Parisian player have had to go and get some more lives. But once again, let's just hope that he manages to get through it. And just as a reminder, why he's doing that duck jump is because he knows exactly how far he goes every time he does it. And now the second try for Katun in Donut 61. Now, why Katun died the first time here is because after grabbing the P-switch, actually just before grabbing the P-switch, he went a little bit too far down and bonked against the ceiling. Bonked against the wall there, that he just managed to get through. And that makes his position wrong for when he grabs the P-switch. And I see someone in chat mentioning that Parisian player keeps on doing the same mistake. And that is because his strats are what he knows. He can't really adapt on the fly. He needs to just keep on try to do exactly what he's supposed to do. So if he has forgotten to count one beat or whatever is wrong right now, it's going to keep on being the same mistake just because he can't adjust on the fly. But he managed to get past that jump, and let's see if he can do the rest of the level now. And he is free, he is out of there. Parisian player moves on. And I have a feeling that Katun is now gonna get through this water level as well. Does not bonk on the wall. Gets the P-switch, and he's has passed the difficult part. All he has to do now is get the key, and he's out of there. Now, something that is super important going into this ghost house that he's going to enter now is that if he messes up and dies a single time, he will have to reset the game and do the last two levels over again. Because the boo rings that you will see right now are on a... well, when you despawn them, they stay on that cycle that they were on when you despawn them, and the game will remember that. So if he tries to enter the level again, the boo ring will not be where it's supposed to be for his strats. So instead, he would have to just reset the restart the emulator and go from there. But it seems that Katun has no issues with the ghost house, and the boo fight is exactly the same every single time. And I have actually never seen him fail this fight. Now Parisian is sitting through the auto-scroller, and then he will finally be able to go on to World 2. So for Katun now, he's entering Star World, and the first few levels are actually really easy. The first one, he just needs to hold right, and if he messes up in any of the coming levels, there is a backup cape in this earlier level if you just hold left instead. So from here on out, he's going to go back to this level if he does a mistake, and otherwise he's just gonna go on. And the next two levels, he's gonna do just fine. Not gonna have any issues at all. And then in Star World 4, you're gonna see quite special strats, in my opinion, that I did not expect anyone to be able to pull off Blindfolded. Now Parisian player has managed to get his cape as well. And remember what I said before, that he does not like this level at all. He finds this to be one of the harder levels of the game, even though Katun doesn't find it hard at all. So let's see how it goes for him. Hopefully he doesn't have any issues at all, since he already struggled that much with Yoshi's Island 3. And Parisian gets through it. Now you'll see Parisian doing slightly easier strats in this water level, and that might be why he doesn't find it as difficult as Katun did. And meanwhile, Katun is doing a really tight level, in my opinion, and according to Parisian player as well. And this is a strat that I talked about before. I'm actually impressed that he manages to pull this off blindfolded. Doing a K-pump, dive bombing, and then landing right by the key. Super impressive stuff. And now Bowser's Castle. Now, the castle itself is not difficult, but the Bowser fight has RNG in it. And RNG is something that is super difficult for a blindfolded runner to avoid. And what makes this even worse is that if a Katun makes a mistake and dies in the Bowser fight, he will have to go back all the way to Star World 1 to get a cape and try again. And he needs to go through the entire castle once more. And yeah, let's just hope that all goes well for Katun in the Bowser fights. Ooh, and Parisian players struggling in Donut Secret 1. Usually he's quite good at that level, so hopefully it's just some nerves and he will get through it. First phase of Bowser done. Now this is the part that is RNG. How the flames fall is something that it can be different every single time. So Katun has tried to come up with strats that works every single time, but it's not really super consistent. Now there is another person that has done this game blindfolded, which is Pangea Panga. And he has another strat for the Bowser fight to avoid dealing with RNG. But that involves a lot of cape knowledge, and neither Katun or Parisian player find themselves comfortable with doing that strat. Gets the second hit on Bowser. Oh, third hit, sorry. And the fourth hit. The second phase is now over, and you'll once again see the fire. Now the final phase. Let's hope that all goes well. Now I noticed that Parisian player entered Donut Secret 1 without a cape, which messes with his strats. And no, Katun loses his cape on the final hit of Bowser. And since he didn't have the cape, he had no strats for what to do, and he had to take a death. And now you will see just how much time that costs. First he needs to navigate the overworld to get to Star World 1, and then he needs to redo the entire Bowser's Castle. He's actually going to go in life farm. He kept track of how many lives he had, and he's gonna life farm ahead of time, just so he doesn't have to do all of Star World again. And now Parisian have realized that he tried to enter the water level without a cape, and went back to grab one, and hopefully everything will go better this time. So, even though Katun, as I said, just an hour ago tied his own world record, which is 12 minutes and 25 seconds, you can see how much time a single mistake in blindfolded costs, just because you have to die and you have to do so much stuff over again. to compensate for the death. Now, Parisian player is low on life, but as I explained before with the ghost house and having to reset the game if it messes up, that doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, Katun is going back to Bowser. And Parisian managed to get through the first boo ring. Let's see if he manages to do the same on the second one. Meanwhile, as you can see, recall the door's final bosses already in the vanilla speedruns, just because entering them with P-speed is a free frame window. In Blindfolded though, doors are the final boss for an entirely different reason. So Katun is just about to enter the Bowser fight again. And the same things apply now as I said before. The flames will be RNG, and any minor mistake, and then we'll have to do all that stuff over again that he just did. Parisian player though managed to beat the ghost house, and Starwald and Bowser is now ahead of him. Katun gets the both hits in the first phase, and we will see him flying over the first flame, and then hopefully not run into any flames afterwards. Parisian player struggling a bit with the overworld and entering a star warp instead of the level, which is a easy mistake to do, and you just need to figure out where you went wrong. And as you can see, he went for the star as well in the Star World 2, just to be a bit more safe than Katun. Meanwhile, Katun getting the third hit and the fourth hit on Bowser. And I wonder if Parisian player missed the gap, or if this is actually part of his strats. No. He was supposed to go down there. And I hope he kept track of the lives, and yeah, he's going back to life farm. Or he's not, he went for the cape. So let's just hope that Parisian player does not take any more deaths, which will give him a game over. Now Katun on the final hit, and GG, he has beaten the game. With a time of 19 minutes 21 seconds. Congrats to Katun. And I think you can see on his face that he's actually happy with this run, even with the deaths that he had. And now, let's just pray that Parisian player finishes this race strong. You could actually see there that he was helped by having the star. He would have taken damage from one of the lost fishes if he didn't have the star. And just a reminder that Parisian does not actually like the next level, and he does not go for the same strat that Katun went for with the dive bomb. You will see more of a conservative strat from Parisian. If I remember correctly, he will do spin flights all the way to the platform above the key, and then he will slowly fall down and grab the key in a safer way. So he is now right above the key, and he goes to normalize the setup, by that pipe, so you know exactly where he is, and then floats down to the key and puts it in the hole. So now for Parisian player, there's only the Bowser fight left as well. Or well, Bowser's Castle. Now I do not expect him to do any mistakes leading up to the Bowser fight, just as I didn't expect Katun to do so. But the Bowser fight can kill any run and any player at any time. Ooh, missing to grab the cage, and now without the cape he needs to go back, well, kill himself to go back and get a cape. And that leads to the game over, and he will have to do all of Star World over once again. Now it seems like he's gonna go back in life form, or not. Okay, so you just want to have his cape and just be able to do his normal strats and go straight through Star World again. Yep, Katun is watching the stream right now, I'm fairly sure. So yeah, not much to say right now. Parisian players just redoing stuff that they already done. We'll see the same strats and hopefully the same success. So while Parisian players doing this, I guess I can just mention that there are 4 people in the world that have managed to beat this game blindfolded. There is one Japanese person that I don't remember the name of, but that completed this game blindfolded about 3 years ago. And then Pangaea Panga took up the challenge to beat his time, also about 3 years ago. But after that, like half a year ago or 1 year ago, something like that, Katun felt the need to actually optimize this category. And Parisian player followed him soon. And yeah, that leads to us having 4 players that have done this blindfolded. Thank you, Bubsia. Yeah, Dodai was the name of the Japanese player. So yeah, once again we will not see the swag strat that Katun goes for in this level. We will see Parisian player doing the more standard spin flight to the pipe. But it is safer, so as you can see, he has a lot more room for error than what Katun had doing his dive bomb. And now Parisian player is back to Bowser's Castle. Now hopefully everything will go better for him this time. That mistake that he did in the first room is not something that we usually see. That is not the part that is usually difficult in this level. And yeah, this time he goes through it without any issues. And yeah, once again, just trying to find the door. It's really not easy to do with the blindfold on. And this room is basically the same as in a vanilla run. Just using an audio cue instead of a visual cue for when to run under the crushers. Now, only the Bowser fight stands between Parisian player and Peach. Let's hope that all goes well and that he can finish this run. gets the first hit perfectly. Going for a bit different strats than Katun did. But Parisian player actually counts the beats a bit differently than Katun do. So some strats they just can't do the same way. And now the second phase. Need to get between the bowling balls and the Bowser cart. Perfect timing on the first one. Let's see if it gets the same. Yep, great timing on the second one. And he has one phase of fire and 2 more hits to do on Bowser. And then he will be done. The Parisian player actually realized that the flame was gonna hit him, so he walked early to the right while getting hit. With headphones on, you can kind of hear which side of you, on which side the fireballs are gonna spawn, and Parisian player used that to his advantage. But this is an issue, I think. I wonder if he has strats for getting a hit after losing one of the Mecha Goopas. Seems like he does, and GG. Congrats to Parisian player. So that was, if I'm correct, the first 11 exit blindfolded race that have ever been done. So great showing by both of the runners. And I do encourage you to follow both of them just to see more blindfolded runs. They are incredibly skilled, and when they go for PB attempts, it's even more entertaining than this was. And yeah, for those that are interested in just how much thought and work goes into this, I linked the strats documents up above. And if you want to learn more, you can either PM either of these runners, or join the Blindfolded Brotherhood Discord, and people will help you on. But yeah, I think that is all for this race. And as you heard before the run started, up next we have Dagron doing assault suits walking.
Hey, hey.
And here we have one of the runners. Hello, Parisian player.
What a run!
Yeah.
It shows how hard it is. Whatever the practice you get, Yoshi's Island 3, no words on it. I thought like I maybe cannot get out of it. I think it took me like more than 10 tries. That was tough. That was really tough.
GG Parisian. What did you do you donut planes? Did you have an infinite there like you predicted?
No, donut plane first try.
Nice.
Yeah, so 10 times I guess for Yoshi's Island 3. I died twice in Donut Secret.
Same.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be one of my best levels, so and I could not understand what happened. Like, sometimes I was trying to press Y and I was expecting for the tours and nothing was happening. I was like, what's going on? Like the nerves were big. I had difficulties to keep my nerves in. Then Boo Castle was first try, so that was good. I died to Yoshi's Island, to Star Wars 2. I have no idea what happened, but I died there. Then I died in the first second room of Bowser's Castle, and it gave me a game over. And same, I don't understand why I died there. It's supposed to be a very easy room, so.
Yeah, you let go. You let go at some point, or you didn't grab the fence. I'm not sure what happened exactly, but yeah, I think it's nerves indeed. Like for me too, I had 2 deaths in Donut Secret 1, the water level, and the first one was just the fish, the regular fish. That's like it's the least consistent thing in the entire run for me. And the second one was like right before that, but I think it's also because of nerves, because my hands were super sweaty. Not anymore now. I don't know. With that,
yeah, my hands were shaking in almost the entire run. It's hard to get to put the pressure down inside. To like in a regular speed run, you can rely on a few things. You can get used to things. Like here, everything can go wrong very easily, and you're not sure why. And since you require a lot of precision, you're getting a bit nervous. Then you're a bit shaking, so you're not pressing the inputs perfectly well, and so then. You cannot have a backup or anything saying that you're doing wrong. You have to go all the way to what you started, and then it won't work. So,
yeah, this is something you can't really practice normally, unless you do a lot of do this a lot in different marathons. But yeah, that's the thing. It's always a bit different in a marathon than usual, but in the end, yeah.
And then Bowser first try for me. That was.
Well, I died to Bowser the very, very last inputs, or like right before the last throw. I mean, so yeah, and then I died twice in Donut Secret 1, and then before that, what was it again? Iggy. I have no clue what happened to Iggy actually. Like pretty much at the start. Not the first spin jump right below the Klupa there, because it's usually tight, but the one after that, I never die there. So I had
you
one
actually
life.
jumped into the Koopa.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Like the second one there. But yeah, it usually never happens, actually. It's been a while. And then I had one life after Bowser and had to go all the way back to farm the cape, but also to farm. I farmed 3 lives, I believe. So that was the major time loss, of course. If I don't know what it would have been without the last throw, but yeah.
Yeah, also, I'm gonna put like a link of the Discord invitation if you want to reach the Blindfolded Brotherhood. Because like we are a bigger and bigger community now of all players playing blindfolded games. You have all kind of different games played, and so if you're interested in keeping seeing what games are being played, or if you want to play a game and you want to you want some people to help and cheer you up into this journey, you're highly welcome.
And could I just ask you guys, what are your coming plans on Blindfolded runs? What are you guys gonna do Blindfolded in the future?
For me, it's this game Deathless, and after that maybe, but not very soonish, DKC2. Yeah, like my current plan right now and for the following until I get it is to get a Deathless run.
For me, I think I want to grind this a little bit till my PB. I had a tied PB today, but it wasn't Deathless at 12:25, so I think I can get a little bit below that, like sub 12:20 or 12:15 or something, and then maybe 96 exit next year. And for this year, I want to hopefully get a sub 2 hour in Mario 64 70-star blindfoldeds, but that will be pretty damn big grinds. And then there's some other game. Maybe I'll check out Dark Souls 1 soon. Not completely sure yet, but at least those things. Definitely focusing on SM64.
And do we have any questions in chat about these runners or blindfolded runs in general?
Old Castle or NSW? Well, not for me. It's not for. But Katun, what do you think?
Yeah, that's definitely something I would probably do before 96, because it's kind of just the same, or just half of 96. I'm not sure how many exits are in Old Castles or no Star World.
It's 36, I believe, in Old Castles.
36, yeah, that's not much. The hardest levels actually in the game for 96 are also in all castles. Well, that is actually Wendy and Lemmy. Because of the RNG of the boss fight, you have to do RNG manipulation throughout the entire second half. So, yeah, it's not all frame perfect, but the door entry is like a 3-frame window, and then a couple of 5-frame windows before that. So that's going to be a big grind. But and then Reznor fights at the forts. They also have it's like 1 out of 3 chance of having the right RNG. So that's really nasty. But for the rest, levels are not too long, so I do think it's going to be doable. How long did the first run 11 exit take to complete? For me, that was about I'd say roughly 10 hours of stratting, and then the first run was like 24 minutes, I believe, 2 years ago. And yeah, I just did about 2 hours of practice and runs before that, so it did take a while before the first full completed run, and then after that, just optimizing went pretty quickly.
Yeah, my first one was a run including like game overs. I was willing only to complete, so whatever the number of practices, the number of attempts on Bowser it would take me, it was around 55 minutes. But the first run, like let's say real run with not that many deaths, was around 25 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I reset it the whole. I was at like 50-minute or over an hour pace at one point, and then just reset it because at some point you know that it needs more practice. If a run can be done in under that, then it's frustrating being stuck in a level for 10 tries. Knowing that you can do it first try with a better strat,
Could you guys just tell us what made you do Blindfolded Super Mario World?
Oh, Super Mario World for me is pretty easy. I already had done a few games blindfolded before, and it's mainly because of Katun. And I saw that, well, it was a short enough game. It was a game which was not fitting my style. Generally, I'm not very good at bit counting, and so it was helping me to become a bit better at this. And that the fact that second place was quite reachable. All this made me want to play that, and like I know Katun quite well, so like it could help me and yeah, give me some advices.
For me, it was, I guess, a combination of being really intrigued by Panga's run. He was, I'm not sure. Blue, please correct me. Was he the first person to do it, or was that Dodai, the Japanese runner? Those
I'm
two were
fairly sure that Dodai was before Panga.
Yeah, I think you're right.
No, it was Panga first with a 25 something, then Dodai cut him, and then Panga cut him back again.
Yeah, Dodai had a 17-minute, and then Panga had the 15 minutes, and then Blue Saint actually challenged me to beat Panga's time, and yeah, that was a lot of fun, especially if somebody challenges you like that.
And now we all challenge Blue Saint to to cut Panga.
Exactly, Blue.
Well, instead of answering to that, we just got a message saying that the next runner is ready. So,
all right,
let's keep the show going.
Well, thanks for having us on the show, and thanks for commentating, Blue. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for the runs.
Thank you, Blue. Thank you, SpeedGaming. Bye-bye.
Bye.